This was left behind for us to figure out. This is a time temple. This was locked in time for a moment that people born under this sun, in this day, in this age, this brand new age of Aquarius, to unlock the keys and the codes to this knowledge. When you overlay the NASA grid over the Giza grid, oops, it matches perfectly with the sun in the middle, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. The power of the knowledge is so intense, it can be used to dominate or it can be used to liberate. What did the master architect that built the entire plateau up, what were they trying to tell us? What did they leave behind? What clues did they leave behind to let us know that they were a super advanced high society? The Giza Plateau is an ancient star map. Okay, so here you see the three pyramids. They are definitely aligned with Orion. Now, they're not aligned with Orion as it's in the sky today. They're aligned with Orion as it was roughly around two precessional periods in the past. So what's a precession? A precession of the equinox is when, as the star constellations move across the sky, they create this precession. Right now we're in the precession, we're in Aquarius. We just entered the age of Aquarius. Okay, so these precessions move across the sky. In ancient times, different rulers would rule over the planet based on the precession that was above us at that time. Now, one thing about Orion, you go back two precessional periods, you can then make the perfect alignment with Giza and Orion's belt. Meaning to me that the theory that I came up with and many others, John Anthony West, and now this new researcher, Filippo Biondi, with the satellite that scanned and found those underground chambers, also talks about 38,000 years. Not 4,000 years, not 5,000 years. We're talking about 36 to 38,000 years, which perfectly aligns with what Thoth said in the Emerald Tablets, which are 36,000 years old. He says in there, builded I the Great Pyramid patterned after Earth's force, so that it too might remain through the ages. He said, builded I the Great Pyramid. He didn't say, I came back and the pyramids were here. And no, he said, builded I the Great Pyramid. And that's super ancient. So here at Giza, you see that Orion's belt alignment. We're talking about the time temple now. So the first thing we're gonna do is start lining up the corners and edges of these pyramids with this grid pattern, okay? So just follow me here. See, we're lining up the eastern edge of the first pyramid, line up the corners of the first and second pyramid. Then we line up the edge of the southern pyramid. And then you see here, we're going to line up the parallel to the step 3. So you can see here now we split this into two tetrahedrons, or two triangles, basically. Now there are structures there. Some of them are kind of worn down where these corners are, but there are structures there. When you go to Giza and you're actually on the ground, you can see the remnants of these ancient sites and temples that are located there at the Giza Plateau. So we've lined up these corners. All we're doing is riding across the angles of the corners. I know it looks chaotic, but out of chaos comes order. Now let's insert the structures that are there. So we have the pyramid, we have the surrounding temples and structures that exist right on the Giza Plateau. Now let's put the concentric circles in, and you'll see that they begin to match the interplanetary solar system. We have Mercury, we have Earth, Venus, We have Mars. We have the sun in the middle. Take a good look at this concentric circle grid that's laid out from just simply aligning the edges of the pyramids and temples and overlaying concentric circles at the corresponding crossing points. Now, watch this. The one on the left is downloaded directly from nasa.gov. This is their concentric circle grid of the interplanetary solar system directly from nasa.gov. Anyone can download this. When you overlay the NASA grid over the Giza grid, oops, it matches perfectly with the sun in the middle, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Not only that, it aligns down to the AU, or the astronomical unit. So Earth to Venus equals 0.966 AU. It matches 100%. What is an AU? An AU is the distance from the Earth to the sun. So we use that in astronomical measurements now to measure distances in space, because space is so vast. So we use AUs, astronomical units, as measurements. Earth to Mars, 1.861 AU. Perfect match. Earth to Mercury, 1.303 AU. Perfect match. Earth to the Sun, 1.017 AU. Perfect match. I don't know if you understand that taking a scale of the size of the mass of the actual solar system and then making it smaller into something that could fit on a screen, and then when you scale it up, the astronomical units match to with 100%. It's incredible. It's the time temple. So, like I told you yesterday, I was going to bring you the Giza star map. I told you I was going to show you that this Giza plateau has many, many more secrets to be revealed. This is just the icing on top of the cake. There's so much. There's even more that I know that I can't speak on yet. But there's a lot more coming. There's so much information that is going to blow the entire world away. It's going to disrupt systems. It's going to break down ideologies and belief systems. It's going to destroy mainstream dogma. It's all going to be ripped apart and shredded. It's going to be shredded to pieces. And I'm glad to be a part of that. I'm so happy to be a part of that. To tear down these old systems of control, dogma, destruction, domination, power, to bring in real truth, real knowledge, real information. Because I tell you right now, if you can understand, if you can grasp what you just saw, if you can wrap your mind around how incredible it is to build an actual multi-structure system on top of the Earth, located in that place, to align it with not just Orion, but to have the pyramid shafts align with Aldebaran, Sirius B, Ursa Minor, the Pleiades, okay? And of course, Orion. And to have that alignment happen with the shafts. To have the actual structure of the Great Pyramid be a multifunctional stone computer and a power generation system. To have a complete underground massive complex that, according to the LiDAR scans, is still moving energy around right now today. And then on top of that, you encode into the Great Pyramid the distance from the earth to the moon, the distance from the earth to the sun, the circumference of the sun, the circumference of the earth, the circumference of the moon, the speed around of the earth on its axis, the speed of the earth around the sun, the speed of the sun around the galaxy, the speed of the galaxy around the local cluster of galaxies can all be taken from the dimensions of the Great Pyramid. The amount of days in a tropical year, the amount of days in a sidereal year. All these things can be calculated. The speed of light can be calculated by the Grand Gallery, the location of the Grand Gallery. Of course, the average height of all the peaks on Earth can be calculated based on the 481-foot height of the Great Pyramid. That's the average peaks of that's the average height of all the peaks on Earth. The Great Pyramid is located at the center of land mass on Earth, not the center of the Earth, the center of land mass. And then you take and build this entire plateau out after you build the underground system, which can hold 64,000 people in it, by the way, and can fit several Burj Khalifas down there, which is the tallest building in the world. You take all of that, and then you say, you know what? We're also going to lay out the interplanetary solar system on top of this, on top of this plateau, for future generations to figure out. For future generations. It wasn't for the people of that day and that time. This was for us. And now we're here. Okay? It was for us. This was left behind for us to figure out. This is a time temple. This was locked in time for a moment that people born under this sun, in this day, in this age, this brand new age of Aquarius, to unlock the keys and the codes to this knowledge. And we're the ones unlocking it on a day-by-day basis. We're finally figuring it out. It first takes a little bit of humbling, because we have to begin to realize that we aren't the end-all be-all. We aren't the pinnacle of civilization and the pinnacle of advanced knowledge and wisdom. We are just the new kids on the block. We've just arrived here. Okay? We've just arrived here. We're new. We're barely learning how to walk right now. Barely. We're trying to stand up at the edge of a table and take a few steps. But these people in the past, they weren't crawling. They weren't walking. They were running. They were running. They had achieved a type 1 civilization at the very least, maybe a 1.5. We are still at a type 0 at this particular moment in time. We're still a type 0. Okay? So what does that mean? We have a long way to go, but we're on the right path. We're in the right place at the right time, and it's the best time to be alive. Throw away all the end of the world dogma. Throw away all of the book of Revelations. It's the end times. No, it's the beginning times. It's not the end, my friends. This is the very beginning of something great, something huge. And it doesn't mean that we're not going to have our shortcomings as human beings on this planet. It doesn't mean that we're not going to make mistakes and fall down occasionally, because we will. But just like a good old-fashioned blue chip stock, it's moving in the right direction. It's going up and down, but it's moving in the right direction as it moves on up. And that's what it's all about. We can get back to a golden age. We can get back to a planet run by conscious beings, not NPCs. Because right now we're being run by NPCs, non-player characters, people with just running on programming code. And then the oligarchs who do have some of the sacred and secreted knowledge, they utilize it to dominate and put their boot on our necks. Because the power of the knowledge is so intense, it can be used to dominate or it can be used to liberate. It can be used to dominate or it can be used to liberate. But the key behind the liberation is no one is coming to liberate us. We have to learn how to liberate ourselves, and it starts up here. We cannot be liberated until we liberate this. Once this is liberated, everything on the outside will flow. But it starts with gaining the knowledge. It starts with getting the understanding. And it starts with tearing down old belief systems and dogma that are curated, cultivated, and remixed to suit individual people's power systems and control systems. And until we rip those away and tear those down, the majority of humanity is going to be stuck.